Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution, and also in part by Xyway brand fungicide, where you get an unfair advantage. Always read and follow label directions. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dale Menyo. In the wake of a challenging year for U.S. corn and soybean producers, an updated study shows how exports of pork and beef provide support to their bottom lines. In 2024, U.S. pork and beef exports of $19.1 billion, an increase of $1 billion over 2023, and down just 2% from the 2022 record, had a significant impact on the corn and soybean industries. According to an independent study conducted by Jude Group and released by the U.S. Meat Export Federation, the study quantified the returns that beef and pork exports brought to U.S. corn and soybean producers. Nationally, U.S. pork and beef exports accounted for $2.24 billion in market value to corn, $525 million to distillers' dry grains and solubles, and $1.12 billion to soybeans. Domestic feed usage is critical to our industries, and the continued growth in red meat exports is encouraging. A significant share of the corn and soybeans we grow locally is ultimately exported through pork and beef, says U.S. Meat Export Federation Vice Chair Dave Bruntz, who raises corn, soybeans, and fed cattle in south central Nebraska. This study demonstrates how beef and pork exports drive value directly back to producers. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
As we start this morning, lingering snowfall from yesterday's system tapering off into eastern Ohio, while the western half of the state sees precipitation throughout the day as a cold front moves east. Highs reach the mid to upper 30s, meaning snowfall will mix with rain later on. Most areas will see light snowfall totals around 1/10 of an inch, but northeast Ohio, Cleveland included, could receive up to 2 inches. Gusty winds up to 35 miles an hour will make it feel like the upper 20s, and precipitation ends by tonight with lows near freezing. Come tomorrow, another round of showers arrives. That'll bring a mix of rain and snow as well. Highs in the low 40s, meaning central and southern Ohio will see rain, while the north starts with snow before transitioning to rain as temperatures rise. Snowfall totals remain low, but colder evening temperatures near freezing will allow for overnight snow heading into Saturday. That's when a high-pressure system settles in, bringing mostly clear skies and seasonable temperatures. Sunday remains similar but slightly warmer. By Monday, a southwestern flow returns, pushing highs into the upper 50s and soaring into the upper 60s by Tuesday in western Ohio. Another above-average day Wednesday, rain back on Thursday. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joel Norwood.
And thanks, Joel. Let's check in for our weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff dollars at work. Here's Dusty Sonnenberg.
On this week's update from the Ohio Soybean Council, I'm going to be visiting with Jenna Fritz. Jenna was just elected as president of USEC, that's the United States Soybean Export Council, and she talks about the value farmers receive from their checkoff dollars being invested into furthering exports.
That is always the first question we receive from farmers is, what is my return on investment for investing in the checkoff? Our CEO, Jim Sutter, has actually done a great job of coining the OPM, other people's money phrase, right? We are not working with our own money. We're working with other farmers' money. So we want to be the key stewards and ensure that our dollars are being used to the best way possible. The research shows that investment in international marketing returns the value to the soybean farmer in expanding the markets and elevating that opportunity for U.S. soy around the globe. So as much as we can have that direct impact in telling our story to create that opportunity for U.S. soy, in my mind, that's a great opportunity for that elevation and that return on investment for soybean farmers.
And again, today's update brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff.
And thanks, Dusty. Let's talk a little bit about crop insurance. Joining me is Keith Summers from Leist Mercantile. They brag about experience you can trust. And Keith, I've seen that when you talk about your customers and helping to update them. So if you would, help us understand this year's crop insurance deadlines and so on.
Well, it's important year for crop insurance. Much of this are out last year. So we really want to make sure you've got policies where you want them to protect you. And I think coming out of a year like we had last year, you can kind of use that as a point to see how well did it help me. Do I need to make it? And that deadline is approaching March 15th, the deadline for crop insurance, spring crops to make changes. So we got to get on it quick.
Now, is this something that we need 2 or 3 days to do, or are we just kind of renewing last year? How should we allocate our time? Because risk management is important, again, as we learned last year.
Well, I can tell you from my side of the desk, we like as much time as possible. So if you got changes to your operation, you need to be letting your agent know. So if you've changed how you're farming, your farming entity, you've brought family members into the operation, if you've added any land to your operation, maybe you're farming in a different county, all those things are going to require some paperwork. And I know farmers, when we get some nice days, they don't want to be in the office doing paperwork with their crop insurance agent or worrying about a DocuSign. They want to get out and get ready for this crop. It can take some time if you've got changes, and those are important things that I mentioned that absolutely need to be looked at prior to this March 15th deadline.
And again, we talked March 15th for spring crops, and that's important. Again, there are options, but a lot of people probably are just looking at last year's plan and saying, are there any slight modifications I need to make? So it should be relatively simple, but sometimes insurance is never simple.
Correct. There are some changes in the policies this year that the agent will review with you. We're seeing rates stay about flat on corn. The price is similar to last year. Bean rates are down a little bit. There is a product that folks should ask about the increased subsidy on that is a little cheaper than it's been in the past few years. There's a coverage called enhanced coverage option. So I would ask the agent about that and see if it's a fit for you in your county.
I've been visiting with Keith Summers of Leist Mercantile, experience you can trust. Keith, thanks for the insight, updates, and reminding us of the deadlines.
Thank you, Dale.
And let's go back to Dusty with more from the Commodity Classic.
I'm visiting today with Nathan LaRusso with Meristem Products. Nathan, we've talked before, used to be with Axis, Ohio, and but still heavily involved with Meristem. A little bit of transition there that went on. Tell us about that to start off.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of people don't realize I was Meristem's second dealer at the Eversign.
Yep.
It's a seed dealer. I got into the seed business because I saw a lot of technology and innovation going from the chem business to the seed business. I now foresee a lot of new technology going into the biotechnology space. And I kind of saw it firsthand as a seed dealer.
Sure.
And the opportunity presented itself to be in a full-time capacity.
Well, nice.
I'm getting to work with a lot of other seed companies, teaching them about my experience and helping them have the same experience and success in their seed businesses.
Well, not only does Meristem have top performers from the employees you're bringing on board, but your product line really has a lot of shining stars in some years that have been good, but some that have also been sort of challenging. Talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like there's new products out in the marketplace all the time. And, I know we're in a pretty depressed commodity price right now, but these products work even better in those types of situations. We talk about doing more with less. We talk about taking costs. So one of my favorite products that we reintroduced is Excavator. It's a stock residue management product. Yep. We've added AMS product in it. We've added a new cap to it. It's going to give us a lot more efficacy. It's going to turn those stalks black. But that whole bio capsule on top is really unique to Meristem. There's a lot of stock residue management products out in the marketplace. This is the new innovation of those type products, and we feel a step above all of them.
For use that's been seen in the field, what kind of reviews are you hearing from the farmers?
Well, first of all, it turns the stalks black really quick.
Sure.
So it's a visual effect.
Yep.
Stalks were breaking up, but sometimes that's hard to see going down the road 55 mile an hour. Now we have both, and there's a little bit of a satisfaction on top of the nutrient release that we were getting from the previous product. So it's both, and now we can use it in the spring. So instead of doing pass in the fall, we're going to do this pass with your Fernsey. So we're eliminating a pass that you may have been doing previous. And so it's just a more efficiency use for your time.
Good. You get my guest today, Nathan LaRusso with Meristem Crop Products. Nate, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And thanks, Dusty. One more note on the calendar. Be sure to join us Monday. We'll get an update from the folks at Ohio Corn and Wheat after they recently returned from their national meeting at the Commodity Classic. Stay tuned, back with more after this. Farmers, crop consultants, and ag business leaders. The Conservation Tillage and Technology Conference is March 11th and 12th at Ohio Northern University in Ada. The theme is getting more from less. 4 concurrent sessions each day with 60 presenters. Registration today is $150 and includes exclusive access to videos of all sessions after April 15th. CCA and CLM credits included. Go to ctc.osu.edu for more information. This is Dale Minio with the Ohio AgNet. For over 25 years, my truck has been running strong on biodiesel, reliable, high-performance fuel that keeps me on the road promoting agriculture. Every gallon helps power Ohio's economy, protect our environment, and support our hardworking soybean farmers. The best part? It works in any diesel engine. No modifications needed. Take it from me. Choose biodiesel and drive with purpose. Learn how at soyohio.org. For the first time in this recent price move higher, all 8 fertilizers are now higher looking back to last month. DTN designates a significant move as anything 5% or more. UAN 28 was 8% higher compared to last month, and urea was 6% more expensive. The remaining 6 other fertilizers were slightly more expensive looking back, and that would be DAP, MAP, Potash, 1034O, anhydrous, and UAN 32. The Fertilizer Institute remains committed to working with the Trump administration to promote a strong fertilizer industry that supports U.S. farmers, according to TFI President and CEO Corey Rosenbusch. In a news release from Tuesday, March 4th, TFI continues to urge the administration to provide a strategic carve-out for Canadian fertilizers from tariffs, which took effect on Tuesday. Today, 85% of our potash imports come from Canada. Rosenbusch said potash is an irreplaceable component of modern agriculture production, and the U.S. has historically sourced nearly all the potash used by farmers from international markets. Additionally, Canada supplies U.S. growers with nearly 10% of their nitrogen fertilizer needs, accounting for 25% of total nitrogen fertilizer imports and nearly 20% of sulfur used by U.S. farmers and others. TFI said an open, fair, predictable, and transparent trade environment between the U.S. and Canada is vital to supporting a strong, competitive fertilizer industry that meets the needs of American growers. Restriction on this critical cross-border trade will drive up costs for farmers, which could ultimately be felt at the grocery store by consumers. TFI recognizes that these tariffs are part of a broader policy agenda, and we encourage ongoing dialogue between the U.S. and Canada, Rosenbusch said. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For marketing information on your soybeans to LDC, call 574-566-2113. Grain markets bounced back midweek, snapping recent losing streaks. May corn closed up 4 1/4 cents at $4.55 3/4 as traders held firm above key support near $4.50. Ethanol demand remained strong, with production up slightly last week, keeping the industry on track for a solid marketing year. Soybeans posted a strong recovery, with May contracts rising 12 3/4 cents to $10.11 3/4 cents, finding solid support near $10. The market is also watching weather concerns in southern Brazil, where dry conditions could impact production. Meanwhile, U.S. soybean crush remains on a record pace, running 7% ahead of last year. The wheat market found strength on a weaker U.S. dollar, with Kansas City May wheat up 8.5 cents at $5.57. Prices are now 15.5 cents above Tuesday's contract low as buyers stepped in near long-term support levels. Winter wheat condition updates showed mixed results. Crop ratings improved in Kansas but worsened in the northern plains due to February's cold snap. Outside of grains, the stock market rallied, with the Dow up nearly 500 points, while crude oil dipped below $67 per barrel. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. In the markets yesterday, ethanol demand remained strong, with production up slightly last week. In the soybeans, concerns about South American weather, particularly in Brazil. And in the wheat, the latest crop rating improved in Kansas but worsened in the northern plains due to February's cold snap. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, December corn up 1/2 at $4.47 1/4 cents. November new crop beans up 6 1/2 at $10.16. The July wheat up 4 3/4 at $5.66 3/4. In livestock, at the close, we had April cattle at $196.55, up $1.90. The April lean hogs, $84.70, up $2.35. And April feeder cattle, up $3.57 at $276.07. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Dale Minyo. This is the Ohio AgNet.